welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Kate Borsato. I'm a mental health therapist and I work with moms and moms-to-be, and I support them on their journey into a joyful, happy, a balanced motherhood. So that is what I'm here for. Today we're talking about burnout. So this is that sense of total overwhelm, just like there's nothing left in the tank. I hear this time and time again with moms, and so I want to talk about this today. First of all, how to recognize it in yourself, and also what to do about it, of course, because we all want to feel better. So if you're new here, I'd love for you to say hi in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe to this channel. I'll be posting every Wednesday a new video all about supporting moms and moms-to-be, and creating wellness in motherhood. So let's dive in. Now, something I see all the time in my work with mom clients, but also in my social connections, with my family, with myself, is that mothers get burnt out, right? There is so much for you to do. There's, it's endless demands being a mother. Your kids need a lot, right? There's a lot going on in your life outside of being a mother, and it can feel totally overwhelming at times. Now, first I'll say that you probably already know that you go through ups and downs of this. So sometimes you might feel like you have your arms wrapped around everything in your life, and then other phases of life, depending on what's going on, either with yourself, with your family, with society, those times can feel really hard, right? So you might notice this overall sense of just feeling like you've got nothing left to give. So that's what that burnout word is really referring to. It's like when you just can't seem to, can't seem to catch up. You can't seem to get grounded or feel rested or feel like you're actually experiencing much joy at all, okay? So for you as a mom, you might notice that you don't have a lot of patience. So maybe you're being irritable with your kids or your partner. Maybe you go from 0 to like pissed off in just a couple seconds. You might find that things that you would normally be really patient about, you might not actually have much patience for that, right? So maybe you hear yourself snapping or just getting irritable and frustrated. So that's a pretty good sign that you are depleted, right? We can also just feel a lot of guilt and shame when we're in phases of burnout. So you know what you want to be as a mom. You know who you want to be and how you want to be to your kids. But when you're feeling burnt out, it's really hard to actually show up as that part of you, right? It's hard to do the things that you want to do. It's hard to treat your kids the way you want to treat them when you're overwhelmed, right? Every little demand can feel like an attack on your system. So I know you don't want to feel like that. I certainly don't want to feel like that. But let's just first acknowledge that this is part of life, that there are going to be periods where we feel like we just don't have much left in the tank. But the important metaphor and sort of image that I want to create for you here is thinking of like energy flowing in and out. So when you think about being burnt out, you can literally imagine your well is just totally dry. There is nothing left. So you probably heard that expression, you can't pour from an empty cup, right? If you pour everything out, you literally have nothing left to give. So it makes perfect sense if you feel depleted and exhausted and fried and empty, right? And weepy and emotional. You don't have any resources left when everything is pouring out of you. Now, of course, there are some times when it's totally unrealistic to think that you would be able to take time for yourself. And I know as a mom that when people say, oh, you need time for you, it's kind of annoying because it's hard to even imagine where that time would come from, right? Like, how am I supposed to add that onto my plate now? I literally have no time. So I'm not going to say that exactly to you today. I'm not going to tell you to go and find, ways to carve out alone time, things like that. Sometimes it's just unreasonable. Yes, we want to think about giving time to ourselves, absolutely, but that's not the only way through this. There's some other things that we can do. So I'm just going to walk you through 3 steps to manage this burnout. Okay, so step 1 is really noticing what's going on for yourself. So often as moms, we're so tuned into our kids, to our partners, to everything with school, with programs, on and on. It's like this outward, flow of energy, I guess you could say. Your attention is outward. There's not a lot of attention going inward. So I first want you to take note of what happens for you when you're overwhelmed. What does your body feel like? So some people feel just totally exhausted. Some people get stomach aches. Maybe you feel achy. Maybe you feel like you just want to withdraw, right? So noticing what your body feels like, noticing your mood as well. So for me, I know I would get irritable and kind of snarky. Even if it's just my inner dialogue, I can tell, right? So what do you notice internally and with your mood, right? And then also noticing, what do you feel like doing? So some people feel like getting angry and they fight, right? Or some people withdraw and they pull back. Some people just want to check out and maybe go online on Instagram or distract in that way. So just notice for yourself what happens when you're overwhelmed, okay? So 2 more things I want to share with you. So the first is to ask yourself what you can remove from your life right now. So thinking of like, what could you let go of to help you through these times? This might literally be letting go of things that are on your calendar. So is there anything that you need to say no to that will help you clear some space in your day so that you don't have to operate at that frantic pace? So sometimes we just have too much going on, and so we don't want to obviously drop everything, but just look at your calendar, look at the way your week shapes up and ask, is there anything that I need to let go of? Okay. Another thing that we can let go of is expectations. And I am not asking you to drop your expectations forever or to just give up on things you care about. That doesn't work. But is there a way that you could lower your expectations just temporarily, just during this phase of burnout, right? Because it's unrealistic to think that you're going to operate at that high level when you're feeling so much stress. So this is part of self-compassion. This is part of realistically meeting yourself with where you're at, saying, there's so much going on right now. Why would I think I'm going to be operating at that level? Maybe I need to just take that down a little bit, just for now. Just so that I can also have a few wins, right? When you drop your expectations a little bit, then you meet them more easily, and that feels good. That's motivating, right? It's like, yay, I did 1 load of laundry this week. That's really good. Instead of thinking, I'm gonna get all 7 loads done, folded, and put away. Like when I'm overwhelmed and burnt out, that's not happening. So pick the most important things that you need to clean, for example. Wash them, put them away, and it's like, yes, pat on the back, I did it. So that's a piece about lowering expectations, okay? The other piece here is to think about whether there's any support that you need. And I know this isn't necessarily realistic for everybody. Sometimes we literally don't have support. But ask yourself, is there anybody that could help you? Is there any way you could ask for help? What would you ask for, okay? And then the last thing that I want to share with you today, this is, to me, one of the most important things that we can do when we're feeling overwhelmed and burnt out. And this is about adding things to our lives that you as a mom enjoy, okay? So these don't have to be huge things, but part of what's happening when we're burnt out is there's so much energy, care, attention going outward and nothing coming back in, right? So that's why we feel empty. So thinking about what can you bring back in that would actually fill you up. Not that's gonna stress you out and add something else to your to-do list, but like, what do you actually enjoy? And making this super simple and easy. So for me, it's little things like getting outside in the sun for 5 minutes, just feeling the sun on my face, letting that be for me. I love that. Allowing myself to drink my coffee hot without doing 14 other things at the same time and then not even getting my hot coffee. Like that bugs me, right? So making sure to bring those joyful, small things into your day, even during times of burnout. Okay, so ask yourself right now, like, what am I missing? What could I add to my day that would feel so good? Your music, not your kids' music, your music. Maybe cleaning up one little space in your home that you like to sit in, that you enjoy being in that space. Maybe it's your bedroom, maybe a little part of the living room, right? So thinking of small ways to weave joy in for yourself and small ways that you can do something for you. Often when we go through these hard phases, when we're overwhelmed, we tend to want to push and do more and more and more. And we think, oh, if I just get X, Y, and Z done, I'll feel better, I'll feel more in control. But what happens is that just maintains that hustle, that sense of like, there's so much to do, I have to work hard. When sometimes we actually need to take a breath and just step back, let go, and think of doing something for ourselves. So the last question that I'll leave you with is, what are you doing for yourself? Is there anything that's just for you? And if not, which I imagine there's probably not a lot, what is one thing that you can commit to doing for yourself? Something small, something that either brings you joy, comfort, ease, something that is just for you. I'd love to hear your idea. Drop it in the comment. Let me know. We also know that when we write things down, we make this internal commitment to actually do it. So I challenge you to let me know what it is that you're going to work on. I'd love to hear your ideas. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.